Good morning, it is Thursday. Today is my last day of work at my current company, and I guess I'm very stoked for it, but at the same time this entire week has been very chill, no care at all. So just being there, I just know that I can do whatever I want and then I'm done. The strange thing is that my dad called me last night at like midnight and said that he landed. And I thought that he was flying in tonight, but I guess they're already here. They were always really bad at telling me which day they were flying in, so I was unsure. I kind of assumed it was today, but they're already here. So I kind of figured that I'm gonna end up doing something with them tonight, I assume. I'm not really sure where he is staying hotel-wise, probably closer to the city, but that's only like 10 to 15 minutes west, so it's not a big deal. I'm actually kind of excited to see them. I mean, I am definitely excited to see them. It's been a long time. April was the last time I saw them, and also at the same time, the last day I saw them wasn't the best goodbye because I was kind of stressed out at the airport. My cat crates weren't compliant with their rules for flying, so I couldn't bring the cats with me that same day. And I was close to missing my flight. My mom was with me in the airport, so I only saw her and I kind of rushed away when I was leaving to catch my flight. And my dad had been driving around the airport to wait for my mom, so I always felt like that sucked for a goodbye, but you know, what can you do? I hope to go to an authentic Chinese restaurant with them because I've always been intimidated to go to a Chinese restaurant by myself, because my Mandarin isn't very good and I don't know the Mandarin dish names. I don't like to read off the menu with the English names because sometimes like some amazing Chinese dish has a really basic English dish name and I wouldn't know they were the same thing. So haven't had authentic Chinese in forever. I don't think I've had it since I've been to San Diego. All right, so I go into work late now, so I'm gonna walk Riley. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning. And then I'm not riding today because I want it to look nice for my parents. I don't want flattened hair and all of that, so I finally put the cover on my bike, finally. Okay, I'm going to let the puppers out. Okay, it is about 2 p.m. on Thursday and I came home for lunch. I didn't actually have anything prepared to eat, but I'll BS something to eat later on. Not the best day for food, but I don't know, I didn't have a lot of motivation to cook yesterday, so I just ate a rotisserie chicken for dinner. I vacuumed the house, cleaned up a little bit because I'm going to be seeing my parents later. They're probably going to want to see where I live. So even though I'm not a slob, there were just a few things that were kind of bothering me. So it was nice to kind of clean it up. And then I will probably be eating dinner with them later. And I'm really excited about that because we're going to aim to eat authentic Chinese, which I have not had since I moved to San Diego. I have an exit interview in 1 hour, basically at 3 o'clock. So I honestly feel like once that is over, I want to just leave. I probably could. Exciting, yeah, it's actually really exciting. I just don't know, I don't feel much right now. It's kind of weird. So I had my exit interview at 3 o'clock. It lasted like 10 minutes and they actually gave me the check right there instead of me having to wait 2 weeks for the direct deposit, which is great. So I have everything up front. I came home right after. It was like 3:15, but fuck it, right? There was a decent amount of traffic, which was sucky, and my parents are actually, I think they should be on their way right now. I'm not very good at that period right before someone's about to come over. I always feel kind of like antsy waiting around for them. I don't really know what to do in the meantime. Okay, here's where we're eating tonight. I drove separately from my parents because their hotel is closer to this area than if they were to just drop me off back at home. It would be like the completely opposite direction, so I didn't want to make them drive all the way. And I am here before them, of course, since I'm familiar with the roads, but hopefully they come soon. It smells so good out here, and I haven't had authentic Chinese in forever. Hi, I am finally back from dinner with my parents. We went to this place called Jasmine Seafood Restaurant, which is close by the bubble tea area, and it was weird. There was like only 4 families there. Puppers is sniffing some of my belongings. So basically my parents arrived around 6 o'clock. I was really tired after work for some reason. I don't know, maybe I'm sleeping too late. I've been getting tired in that late afternoon. So I was sleeping, I was napping when they knocked on my door out of the blue. So we were hanging around here for a while. They brought a few things of mine. First off, they brought my violin. I'm so excited to play it. Let me open it up and show you guys. So first things first, let's pull this down. This is what it looks like. Riley's super curious. Super sniff sniff. Okay, so here's what it looks like. So many things are coming back to me. I remember buying this thing. You're supposed to put it on the bridge. I forget what exactly it does. It definitely lessens the vibration here, so maybe it creates a more softer tone. That's what I'm thinking. I remember these 2 pegs are for more precise tuning of the strings. And overall, it just looks to be in really great condition. Earlier, I did take it out just to mess around with it while my parents were here. And I pretty much used YouTube to tune it because they don't have anything else. So, okay, this is already flat. It's all flat already. So I think these pegs are still a little loose. I'm going to have to really like push them in and tighten them up. And then my bow is just still good condition. I had to apply some, what is it called? I forget what this is called. Rosin. But yeah, usually you apply this on your bow before you play. Anyways, I'll probably play some more later. You're a monster. Puppers, you're a monster. All right, I'm going to close this case up for now because I am like super positive that if I left this open, Milo would do some awful shit. So let's close that up. So curious you are. So this is a comic book box that I purchased to contain my comics. So, all right, basically here is the timeline. When X-Men First Class came out, I loved that movie. And I really do think it's a good movie. I think that was the last good superhero movie that they ever made. Everything after that I don't like. But basically X-Men First Class really made me interested in wanting to read comics because I think when I watch those types of movies, it really bothers me not to know the origins of everything. And I think I also wanted to find out, you know, what differed between the movies and the comics. So I decided to read X-Men. I think the first series ever was called Uncanny X-Men. So I pretty much downloaded all the comics and I started reading from issue number 1 back in like the 1950s or 60s. And it actually felt like a forced hobby for me because I just, even when I set a goal like just read 1 comic a day, you'll get through it pretty far, I couldn't do it. So it was a while of me trying to do that. I also signed up for monthly X-Men, their newest versions, to be sent to my house. So I think I do have some of those in here maybe. I don't think I ever managed to sell them off. But aside from that, I also had a period of time where I was sending fan mail to celebrities to get autographs. Yeah, so I would pretty much write a bunch of letters. I would include postage, I would include an extra envelope, and I would include a picture for them to hopefully sign it and send it back to me. So this box contains comic books and some autographs. And there was a site that I was using that would really help you to figure out whether it was, basically it would help you determine whether an autograph was genuine, whether the actual person physically did sign it, or if it was some other form, which is obviously less valuable. Oh wow, I totally forgot about this. So this was like a really cool looking notebook that I bought off Etsy because I thought it was like really fancy. The side was a really neat binding, but basically there is this website that used to be called getglue.com, and if you checked in during like a time period where a new movie was showing or a TV show episode, they would send you stickers once you've accrued enough. So I used to put them all in this notebook, and I loved collecting these. I thought the stickers looked really nice. It was really cool to like get a whole category together, whether it was a series or just like collecting all the movie ones. But you know, unfortunately they discontinued these because maybe like they realized printing out the stickers or whatever was costly and they weren't making money. I have no idea, but they eventually switched it to digital stickers. These are the Game of Thrones ones. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, but they discontinued it, so the rest of my notebook didn't really end up being used or anything. I have so many comics in here. Wow, look at this. This is weird. Okay, so this random notepad is dated 2014, and I have this weird series of notes where it seems like I was writing about World of Warcraft, but I kind of forget why I wrote all of this. Like, there are so many pages. This is really cool. Here, I'll show you guys. Hopefully this is easy to read. I can probably provide close-ups later. I don't know if people would be interested in stuff like this. I just really don't recall why I wrote these. So just for show, here are a bunch of the X-Men comics that I have. These are in really, really good condition, like perfect. I have never really read them or anything. So I put them in bag and board. I think that was the phrase that they called it. And my goal was to keep them in pristine condition until I managed to get to this number, like this issue number. I really wanted to read everything in the proper order. So, yeah, I mean, it was definitely forced, but I was always unhappy that I wasn't able to get to these newer editions because the art changed so dramatically. It improved so much later on, so these were ones that I never ended up reading. Oh, so this one's interesting actually. So in the beginning of when I was just getting into comics, I was talking to a friend about like DC and Marvel, and I ended up buying this, Batman New 52, Volume 1. And I actually really enjoyed this read. I thought it was really good, and the art is so good in this one. I don't know, I just thought it looked really nice. I also really liked that it was in a book format instead of the comics, because I guess with comics, they're flimsy, right? And you kind of feel weird reading something that is so fragile, but hardcover is the way to go. And I emphasize that because I'm reading, and then there were none on paperback right now. And it is so hard to read because I'm really afraid of bending it too much because of the spine. So I'm reading like, the book is like barely open. The book is like this, and I'm reading the text like that. And it sucks because there's a lot of resistance with the spine. So my hands actually kind of hurt over time from trying to hold the book open. So I'm actually so surprised. I have so many comics in here and they're all the same. They're all Uncanny X-Men. Never opened. Never opened. Maybe I should get around to reading them, but then it's just weird because I'm like in the middle of a storyline, even though I do think comics do tend to be like very independent, right? So now, let me show you guys some of my autographs that I got back. I don't know if people will find it pretty cool or interesting, but I think it's nice. So I do have a few that are authentic, which is really exciting. So the first one is from Haley Atwell. She even signed my name on it. Her signature is so beautiful. And we have Cameron Diaz. We have Dakota Fanning. So just to reiterate, these are pictures that I sent to them myself. There were a few that decided to send their own picture and sign that one instead, but basically I had to pay to get these pictures sent to me first before I was able to send them out to the respective celebrities. So I got Dakota, I also got Elle Fanning. So this one is pretty cool, I would like to think. So even though lately I have mentioned that I'm not as big of a fan of her anymore because she seems kind of obnoxious to me now, but I think the first year Jennifer Lawrence was nominated at the Oscars, this was the first year she attended the Oscars, I recall, because I thought she looked super beautiful and she was a newcomer. And this was before she was in Hunger Games and blown up. This was like when she just got into the scene. So I was able to get an autograph from her because I sent this out to her. And this is what she wore to the Oscars that year, I'm pretty sure. I think so. But yeah, I think she looks super beautiful here. And I guess maybe it's like really cool that I sent this to her before she blew up, because I think if I tried to send this to her now, I wouldn't be able to get it because I think she's like way too popular now. So this one is maybe like he's not as huge as people like Robert Downey or Scarlett Johansson, but this is Bobby, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Cannavale, anyways, Cannavale, but he was in Boardwalk Empire. He is dating the lovely Rose Byrne, and they have kids together. I know these things. So I just think he's really cool. Ryan Gosling, I'm not positive if this one is authentic. I think it is. All of these were like a couple years back. So if someone is huge now, then maybe it's possible that I was able to get an authentic autograph because they were like less popular. So they wouldn't be as busy, or like they would be more likely to respond to fan mail. This one is what Amy Adams sent back. And this one I don't think is authentic because if you really take a look at the signature, I got interrupted earlier because my camera overheated and I've been playing the violin for like, head down, good. I've been playing the violin for like over an hour, maybe like an hour and a half. So my neck is really hurting. I'm not really sure if I'm like positioning it wrong or something. I don't think so, but I just think that like the way it's designed, it's like a hard piece of wood you're like lodging in here. So long play probably hurts. My fingers are also my fingers are in a little bit of pain too because of pressing on the strings for so long. Overall though, I think I picked up on it pretty quickly. I'll maybe include some clips of me playing. I haven't touched the violin in like a decade, so I'm not gonna be super good just yet. I'm probably going to look for some sheet music because the books that my mom brought me, they're not the greatest. I also need to buy a stand. I was propping it up against my couch or like taping sheets to my TV, which is just terrible. So I was like propped up on my knees on the couch playing. It was terrible. So I need a better setup and then I'll be able to play at my best. I got Joel Edgerton. I have a Clint Eastwood one, but it doesn't look real. Here I have Dev Patel. This was like shortly after Slumdog Millionaire. I don't know if the newsroom had aired just yet when I got this. Here we have Kristen Bauer Van Straten. This picture was taken from True Blood. She played a very cool character that was like very blunt, and she was a vampire, but she was very good. Here we have the lovely Amanda Seyfried. Here we have Colin Firth. I really hope this is real. It seems like it is because he is amazing. I love Colin Firth. He was such a gentleman in Bridget Jones's Diary. Here we have Anna Kendrick. Before she did all the Pitch Perfect 2 and 3, I think after 2 and 3, it's like kind of tainting her for me, even though she's really cool. Jennifer Connelly, I am not positive if this is real. Just for some reason, it doesn't seem that authentic, but maybe it is. Here we have Zoe Saldana. This was like shortly after Avatar came out when she was just starting to become known. Here we have the lovely Carey Mulligan. I love her, she's so good. And her first film debut was in Pride and Prejudice, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So my dad said that I got this after I had moved out, so maybe within the past year. This is from Numi Rapace. I hope that's the way you say her last name. She was from the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. She was also in Prometheus, and she is super good actress. She is great. Here we have Rosamund Pike. I love her so much. She's also one of the original Pride and Prejudice people. She was in Hostiles recently, and she was in Gone Girl. She's awesome. Next we have Rachel McAdams. Rachel McAdams, I think, is an amazing actress, but for some reason, like, her career kind of like declined or something. She hasn't been in anything good. Her latest movie coming out is like Game Night, a comedy that looks pretty awful, but I don't understand. I mean, I think she's a very talented actress. This one, I'm actually not even sure why I got it. Zachary Levi. I think the only movie I have seen him in is Tangled, and that was an animated movie, so you don't even see his face, but he was in that TV show I never ended up watching. This one's also a little strange, but it's Chelsea Handler. I used to watch her talk show and her interviews. I feel like I like her because she's very forward. She tells the truth. She doesn't apologize for her personality at all, so she's very outspoken, which I like a lot. I really appreciate people who are outspoken nowadays. This one is kind of interesting because, I forget his name. I'm so bad, I forget his name. Basically, he is the actor who replaced Andy Whitfield in Spartacus. Andy Whitfield died from cancer, I believe, after the first season of Spartacus aired. And I honestly thought Spartacus was a really, really good show. The story was very strong. The acting was so good. Lucy Lawless, John Hannah, Andy Whitfield, and it was so emotional. maybe I should watch it over sometime because I thought it was really, really good. And it surprised me because I was an HBO snob at the time, which basically means I don't watch anything that's not on HBO. And yeah, it was good, but the later seasons weren't as good. Although the prequel was good as well. So Spartacus, Blood and Sand, and then God of the Arena. Those are the two ones that were really good, but then after that, eh. Colin Farrell. Not positive if this is authentic. I think it is. Toby Jones. Toby. Jenny McCarthy. So, just to reiterate, I guess, I have 4 bigger pictures that I got that I was probably hoping to get signed, but they're kind of big and I don't really know if I ever plan to send these out. But anyways, in case people are wondering where I got the Alessandra name from, it has been my IGN in-game name for like about a decade now. My priest was the first time I used that name. So basically where it originated from is this lovely young lady. Her name is Alessandra Ambrosio. She is a model and she's Brazilian. So that is where I got the name from. Originally, I wanted it to be with 2 S's because that's the way you spell her name. But it was already taken on Burning Legion, so I decided to remove 1 S, Alessandra, and I've been using that name ever since. I also really like models, so just a couple more here. This is Carolina Kurkova. She is like 6 foot. Her legs are so long and they're so gorgeous. This is Miranda Kerr. She is currently married to Evan Siegel, who is the Snapchat CEO. And then we have Giselle Bundchen, who is married to Tom Brady. But yeah, these are, I don't know if I really ever plan to get these signed, but yeah, that's my collection. I do have a couple more, but you know, those were like the main ones that I thought were ones that people would recognize. So I spent a lot of time playing the violin tonight. You know, it's already almost midnight. Today has been a really good day. It was really nice to talk with my parents about things, chat it up, and just catch up, you know? It's funny though, because every time I think of intimacy with my parents, like hugging and stuff, it just doesn't happen. So when they arrived, we just pretty much caught up and talked as if we didn't not see each other for forever. And even after dinner, when we were getting ready to separate, I went to hug them and it just felt so awkward. I don't know, like, I don't know if it's probably just our family because we've never really hugged. We don't really say I love you. We've never said I love you, I feel like. I don't even remember the last time I said I love you to them and they said it to me. But yeah, hugging was weird. I wanted it to feel like warm and genuine and do the little squeeze, but they were kind of like stiff. So it wasn't a very good hug with my parents, but they are going to call me tomorrow and tell me what they feel like doing. Unfortunately, I'm not a very good tour guide because I don't go out. My home is my sanctuary. So yeah, today has been a great day. And now I'm free for like 9 days. How exciting is that? Hope you guys have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.